Okay, hi, I'm trying some new recording equipment, so we'll see how this goes. This is very casual. It's pretty late. I'm going to turn into a pumpkin soon. But there was a question in this group, and I actually talk about this mainly with clients quite a lot. And I thought I really wanted to weigh in on this debate, I guess, or this conundrum. Um, and not because I am, well, I guess not because I really am trying to persuade you to make a decision one way or the other. I fully believe that it is your choice. I just want you to really understand what's behind some of these choices. So first off, the thing I think it's important to point out is to really start to examine the world around you if you have not already, and really start noticing how many mental rule structures that there are up around dating and relationships. How many things that we celebrate or we condemn. And a lot of that, there's an absolutely ridiculous number of them. And a lot of them are unseen, and they're all conditioning. And most of them have been handed down in one form or another from a time when marriages literally were for alliances. They were for survival, they were for getting ahead. And so, like any business arrangement, there was a lot of rules. And we have inherited these. And while they have morphed in some ways and others, a lot of them have really remained in place. They just sort of are incognito. So in my mind, it's really important if you want to start to expand possibility, then you really want to consider which rules you're willing to accept and which ones you're not. Partially because it affects your identity, and then partially because it literally getting caught up in the do's and don'ts too much absolutely limits possibility, and it keeps you within the structures of material reality. And so we do live in material reality, absolutely. I'm not saying we don't, but I'm saying there are things that we should challenge. Okay, that little rant on conditioning aside, I want to talk about a couple of the points that were made about whether to date or not date when I asked what comes up. So again, like I said, it's a completely personal decision. I'm not advocating for or against it. There is no right or wrong decision in this situation. I just want you to make it with that full grasp from the point of manifesting. So, okay. If you were considering dating, and part of the reason is because you wonder, how long can I wait for my manifestation to come? Then I want you to listen to that, or listen to me say that, and I want you to ask yourself what that demonstrates about your faith and your belief. Oh, I can hear my daughter yelling. She's probably going to come in and be loud. So there's doubt there. There's doubt, and doubt is resistance. So to untangle that, I want you to start to explore why you doubt your manifestation will happen. Because whether you're aware of it or not 24/7, that's there in the shadow 24/7, and it is reflecting into your results. And so that is a really common thing that people say. And so I want you to start to explore kind of your own thoughts that come up. And are any of them around, will this ever happen for me? Because we manifest through faith and we manifest through assumption, and doubt doesn't fit in there. So again, like I said, doubt is resistance. So this is the other most common thing that I hear in the date to not or not to date conundrum. And this point also has a lot to unpack. This one also, I think, deals more with a lot more than just the date or not to date. So if I'm living in the end, I wouldn't be dating anyone. I hear that a lot. If I'm living in the end, I would be. So again, we're really thinking really structurally and in a limited way of what living in the end is. So the main point I want to make is living in the end is embodying the person for whom that end is inevitable. It's not pretending or telling yourself that you're there now. It's not barricading yourself in, having to act as if, even though you don't feel as if. It's not even visualizing it. It's literally embodying the person for whom it is inevitable. And so that's why removing resistance is important and effective, because it's what's coming up to push you out of being that person, out of assuming it's yours, out of living in the end. And that's all. So the question with that I would ask is, if I'm embodying the person for whom the end will happen regardless, will dating make a difference to that end? And the key word in that sentence is regardless, right? If I make an assumption, I have assumed that that's what it is, and I'm not really letting other things in. If I've made a decision, I've literally cut off all other options. And so as long as I maintain a bunch of conditions, like I can have it, but I have to maintain all these conditions, I'm actually not allowing myself to have it. I'm again aligning to the idea of the material world, and I'm not saying that like I never do it, because I definitely do, and we do live in a material world and we're conditioned into this. So no judgment. 100% I do it and have to catch myself. And so I want you to be able to do that too. I want you to recognize, ask yourself, what if I could have it with no conditions? And so without fear, you can't, or doubt that you will. You just claim it, right? So to that end, will dating make a difference? Or is it simply an experience you may want to have right now? Or maybe not. I think that's your personal choice. It's not connected to your manifestation. They are mutually exclusive. And so our mind likes us to think that everything is linear, but we all want that manifestation that's like a miracle that just happens right away. Well, how can you do that if you keep yourself in a linear structure? Right? Manifesting is absolutely structural, but no one said that that's linear. That is an energy structure. That is an emotional structure. That is a perceptual structure. And so if you're SP, the last thing I want to point out is that if your SP is dating, and that's circumstances, and circumstances don't matter, wouldn't you dating also be circumstances? And circumstances don't matter. And so here I want you to ask yourself that if you believe circumstances do matter on your end, can you possibly truly believe that they don't matter on your SP's end? Because your attitude about it is expressing a deeper belief than what your conscious mind actually has access to, what your conscious mind is telling you. And your conscious mind is actually the most limited of the minds. And what you express, what you express in attitude and actions actually impresses new beliefs or confirms limited beliefs to your subconscious mind. So if you are in essence confirming that circumstances matter on your end, what are you confirming that they matter on another end? Because I can tell myself that I'm confident, but if then I feel fear and shy away and stumble over my words, then what does my subconscious actually take it as I feel about myself? Am I confident or am I not confident? And so I want you to kind of consider this when you're determining whether to date or whether not to date. What are your decisions? Are they moving you forward or are they keeping you stuck? Because there's a lot more under the surface than what your conscious mind is telling you. Again, it's the most limited mind. It's the structural mind. It's the mind about how the world works. And that is not a lot of possibility. And so we will definitely explore that in the last weekend of this month, a little in more depth. But I feel like this was such a great opportunity to really dig into some of the things that I see and some of the things that are literally keeping people stuck because they're not recognizing what they're actually expressing by what they do or don't do. Okay, so it is ridiculously late, as I said, and so I'm going to go because it's far past my bedtime. So hopefully this was helpful and gave you some clarity about what living in the end is and about how we approach circumstances and how we make some things okay and not other things okay, and that's a very dualistic